I think mine is definitely retreat last year, and it's like really sad that we didn't have it this year, but it was just really like a good bonding experience, and I got to meet so many people that like I saw in the hallways, but I didn't really know their full personalities yet. It all like came out while we were up all night talking, acting crazy, and it was just a really like fun, like intimate experience with all of the leadership kids.
We had an assembly lunch after we filmed for the senior talent show, and that was like our first one because usually NOC takes the assembly committee out for lunch after every assembly, but because we've been online, we haven't been able to do that. So we finally did, and it was really fun, and NOC picked.
Mine is probably like retreat. I remember it was me, Lydia, and Eric, I believe. And we were just hiding up there. It was really fun.
Outreach committee, we did do some meals drop off, and it was really fun.
Definitely all of the retreats. I know we didn't really have one this year, but especially as a freshman and sophomore, the retreats and getting to get to know the upperclassmen and getting closer with the class of 2021. I think it was one of the best moments of leadership because it kind of introduced me to everyone. And I think after that point, we kind of just created this bond from leadership retreat.
Yeah, I really like retreat too, but my favorite's always been homecoming because it's all like competitive and it's the first really big event where everyone gets to work together and you can see everyone from all the classes, and I always love getting to like work on one really big project and see it all come through.
Memory is probably on all those trips that we used to go on, like the retreat. Kind of got closer with a lot of people on those trips. Kind of sucks we couldn't do it this year, but
being able to ride like with the float in the truck during the float parades, like during my sophomore and junior year, it was really fun to just like cheer and like basically lost my voice as we went with the crowd and the bleachers, and I really miss that feeling.
Homecoming was just really fun, and I think it would have been topped by homecoming this year, but obviously we didn't have one. And then retreat was just like the best time that I've ever had. We all bonded a lot, and like my committee especially, and we had such a good time. And
our like end of the year leadership potluck every year is so much fun. Everybody brings food and you just like sit in the grass, and actually our sophomore year we made like a big sophomore circle and just talked and hung out. And that was just a really good way to close out the year and be kind of like, all right, we have no finals right now, we can just enjoy and eat lots of cupcakes, and that was really fun.
I think in my sophomore year we had pre-float at my house, and I was like, I really didn't want to do it because people were like, oh, pre-float's so bad, they make you clean up the whole thing, they use your house. It'd be so much fun. I made so many friends in that moment.
Story was taking photographs for the homecoming assembly and taking pictures of the student body, and also just being able to print those photos out and collage them for everyone to see.
When we went on that diabetes walk for diabetes, it just was a really fun time, and I felt like I was doing something really.
Is just working with my wonderful committee this last year because we all just got along very well, and I really couldn't have asked for a better team.
Old You're Young yell that we get every time he's asking me a clarifying question.
It's like girlfriend story when he was on the beach. I totally forgot like blank on the story, but I think he did something, offered something to a girl, and then she like ran away or something. I don't know. It was something like that.
Ever since he found out that I worked at In-N-Out, he like comes up to me and like starts acting like he's ordering.
He'll always be like, oh, this is bad, or like he'll be like, the product you worked on was not good, but then you'll be like, oh well, like how can we improve, blah blah blah, and he just says, I have to think about it, and it's just so like you're just like, what? And it's very stressful and definitely very kooky.
The number one thing I remember, not every single time I come into class, he goes, Corey, are you angry? I'm like, I'm not angry. Like, but if he keeps asking me, I'm gonna be angry. But I don't know why he keeps asking me. Maybe I have like an RBF or something.
Hers just came up like out of nowhere. He was like, "Are you a spy?" And I was just so baffled. Like I didn't know.
When like NOC yells at you in class, just for no reason, it's always been funny to me. Like even if it's like a compliment, he'll be like, "Good job, dog."
There's this one time where I guess like Purse's door got like scratched or something, and he showed up at my dad's body shop, and I guess they hit it off really well, so like almost every time I see him he always tells me like, your dad is the best, your dad is the coolest, we're like besties, and it's just like a little strange because I think my dad forgot about him, but like I just nodded and smiled.
I mean, it's not really cookie, but I guess it was just kind of funny hearing Knock telling me to like fix my fantasy basketball lineup.
Is whenever Purse sees me, he's like, "Who is Audra Pino? Who is she? Who is she?" I'm like, I don't know, man.
I think he thought I was a boy when he saw me. He was really surprised because my name is Dan, like that's my full name. It's really short. He thought I was a boy.
That he'll just like see you around and never mention it, and then the next day at leadership he'll be like, "Cynthia or Sophia, I saw you working yesterday," and you're just like, "Oh my god," like you're being watched 24/7, which is wild.
Yes.
Oh, and I wanted to add something. I remember one time we were selling in the Hive together, and it was really dead, and we were super bored. And he just turns to me and goes, "You want to see my puppies?" And then I was like, "Yeah." And he pulled up these photos of these like clearly like stock photo puppies, but then we spent the rest of the time selling with him, like mapping out his house and like designating this would be the puppy zone and this would be like the like fish tank zone. It was really fun.
Coach Purse has asked me to write an article for the school paper about his, I don't even know what it is really, brainwave meditation thing.
The community aspect, how everyone kind of comes together when there's something that's happening, or if someone needs help with something, there's always that one person that's like, "Oh, I'll help you."
All the hardworking people that you see, everyone is like really dedicated to what their committee is working on, and the leadership class as a whole. And I think that's really inspiring to see, especially because like at the end of the day, there's no real like reward. It's just kind of like busting your booty off, and that's really awesome. And
my favorite thing about the assembly committee, especially this year, is that I think we've gotten really close, even though we were over Zoom for half the year. We always make each other laugh, and yeah, it's just really fun working with them, seeing them every day.
I love that every committee and leadership tries really hard to not only come up with their own events and support each other, but it's really visible that everybody is so supportive and how hard they work to plan every event and every spirit week and etc.
Unlike other classes, it has a different structure in terms like how the classes run. Like it's not like sitting in front. It's not like sitting in a class and like listening to the teacher talk or lecture. Like you can actually talk with your like committee members and like go out on campus and like do whatever you need to do.
Eva and Sophie are so much fun as committee members, and like it's funny because we hadn't really talked much before this year, but now like we've definitely gotten very close and always have jokes. And
this past year especially, it's just like the three of us in this little trio, and we're like one really great unit, and like I always have fun with them, and we see each other every day for leadership but also for volleyball, and I think that had brought us closer as a committee, and I'm definitely gonna miss them a lot next year, but like I'm not gonna be that far away, and like we're definitely still gonna keep in touch. Like
everyone in my committee has like a different personality, and they're all different, but we all like contribute to make like ideas and try to get what we want done. And I really enjoyed like getting to know them and like talk.
I love Penny. She's super kind and so fun to talk to, and I didn't really know how leadership worked because this was my first year in leadership, and Penny was really helpful with like teaching me what to do.
Like excluding this year, I think it's definitely just seeing our class grow, especially freshman year when everyone was like kind of out of the loop, not really knowing what leadership was about. I think sophomore year and when junior year rolled around, a lot of people were more involved in our events, in homecoming, spirit days, fundraisers, all the sorts. I think just seeing our class grow from like not really active in school and like school spirit into people that were like always participating. I think that was one of the best things about leadership.
Kind of cool, and how it's helpful that whenever you like FaceTime one of them, they always like pick up immediately and like can answer your questions or help you or like just guide you in the right direction, and have your questions answered.
I think my favorite thing is that it like even if you don't want it to, I feel like leadership forces you to grow. And I feel like a lot of people come into leadership to grow as a person, as a leader. But I think even if it's not your intention to grow, leadership, it forces you to learn new skills and put them into play. And I think I really like that about leadership, because I think for myself, I was quiet when I first joined, but then now I feel like I'm kind of a whole new person. So
I feel like we edit really well together. Like we are able to stitch everything together really well. But it's like editing is really not like fun every single week. So you really learn perseverance, and that's honestly one of the biggest like traits that you need to have when you're going on into your future, into your career.
Love Shay because she's in our committee and Rockstar right there. But I also love Roxy and Dahlia. Dahlia was with me last year in diversity, and she was awesome there. So shout out to her.
Sonder, she's hilarious. I find her humor so relatable and funny. I want to shout out Kristen. I haven't seen many underclassmen work as hard as you do, and it's just great to see that we have like just people that are that dedicated, just not to one class, but like the work that they actually do inside the class and outside of the class.
My assembly committee buddies, Peter and Alita, they have a special place in my heart.
Well, my favorite underclassmen are definitely my committee members, Roxy and Maddie. I love them so much, and like this year, since we didn't get to be in person as much, like we really try and cherish when we're like with each other. Like if we're in class or if we're at like a sporting event or something, we're always together, and it's a lot of fun, and I'm gonna miss them a lot.
I definitely feel so much attachment to, as Cynthia said, like all the underclassmen that I've shared committees with, not just this year, but in years past. Like with you, Kristen, just seeing you grow, and then just seeing like you and Dahlia and Ava and Sophie, it's just been such a blessing. And just for the freshmen and sophomores in general, like I don't know them that well because of being on Zoom and not getting enough time together, but when I saw y'all at homecoming, like showing up to work on your floats, making it look beautiful and like putting in all this effort, like massive shout out to everybody, because that was really cool to see, and it really inspired me for the future of leadership.
Well, it has to be Peter and Alita, right? Yeah. I mean, like they're so witty. They're really smart. Yeah, and they've added so much to assembly and like leadership in general.
I obviously have to mention my committee members like Sonia Chen and Katie Ha. Even though it was mainly online this year, I'm excited for them. And Zoom calls were always pretty interesting in our committee, I think, because we were laughing most of the time, even like with how short the class was. But meeting them in real life was super chill, and I love them.
Say my boy Tommy Barbie, small boy. So that's pretty much it. Nothing else to say.
More classes really impresses me, especially yesterday at picnic when we were trying to figure out the sound system, just how engaged and resourceful they were. Like it was really impressive, but especially Tommy, he's always on top of everything.
Hey, Tommy and Roxy really impressed me yesterday. I was just like, I felt like such a boomer. I was just like standing and watching them sort of tinker with the AV system, and I was just like, I felt ridiculous. And they're so like inventive and just very like analytic, and they're very good problem solvers, and they're like very good speakers, and they're good leaders. I'm happy they're in class, and I think they're nice to talk to.
For me, it's got to be Kristen Wong, Elvira Liu, Taylor Nguyen, and Roxy.
Really do enjoy you and Tyler. We've been in leadership since, I guess you guys were in 7th grade. I got to know freshman class a lot this year, and they're all amazing. I'm going to miss so much.
Definitely miss everybody. Like, especially the underclassmen in my committee, you know, those are the ones that I've talked to the most and I've interacted with the most, so I'm definitely going to miss them a lot.
Alec, Kristen, you're one of my favorite underclassmen too. I'm not just saying that because you're here. Elvira, Penny, Tom has really grown on me. I don't talk to you that much, but I really love your personality.
As well as Melody, she's really sweet and outgoing. Yeah, and she always gets her work done, so.
Of course, Dahlia and Tom, like, of course. And I gotta shout out my current officer in my environmental club, Ava McCracken. He's just a great person. Really, yeah, cool to talk to.
Junior class, the committee, and just all the juniors, you are on top of it, and it's pretty amazing, and y'all are really nice people, and just interacting with you guys and working with you guys is always a great experience. And one particular shout out, will be to Miss Elizabeth Scott. She has so much potential, and she's coming into Knox class next year, and she's gonna be in assembly, and this is just the beginning, She's great, y'all are gonna love her, you'll see.
Not waking up for class on time or sleeping in class and then Knox
Yeah.
Steven, are you there? Oh, he's probably sleeping.
And then everybody had left the meeting and it was just me and Knock. And Knock was like, Inshita, what are you doing? And I was like,
There's pictures of me. I'm not gonna don't insert them. I know you might have them. Don't insert these pictures of me with a giant bag of popcorn from our art exhibit last year. Snapchat memories came up from a year ago and I was like, why did I take this picture? Who allowed me to look like this with this gigantic bag of popcorn?
I fell at homecoming in front of the whole school, but
Sophomore year, Sophia Orduña asked me if I wanted to play a game for the homecoming assembly. And so I was like, okay, why not? And so I do it with her. And one of the activities is the wheelbarrow, is that what it's called? Well, I was the wheelbarrow, and I have absolutely zero upper body strength. And I could not move. And then in front of that many people, in front of half of the entire school, people were just laughing at me because I was too weak to do anything. So
it was for the environmental fair at school this past year. I got the times completely wrong, and people told me so many times. And I came after the first one was over, and I just got there and I just walked in and I was like, hey guys, I'm here to help out, volunteer. And they're like, wait, you're very early. And I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm here on time. And they're like, no, it ended already. I'm like, what? No. So then I just stuck around for an hour.
Oh my God. One time when I was either sophomore or junior but environmental committee, nonetheless, I remember Knock was asking me stuff about environmental, and then he asked me, who's that environmental activist that's from Sweden? She's doing the school climate strike. And it was so embarrassing that I didn't know it was Greta Thunberg. And I just felt so bad because he was like, you don't know? You're environmental commissioner, you don't know? I was like, I could feel the sweat dripping down. I was so embarrassed.
It was Earth Day. I can't remember if it was sophomore or junior year, but I was supposed to help him set up in the morning. And if you know me, I hate waking up early. So he always picks me up in the morning, but he was supposed to pick me up half an hour earlier. And then I just got spammed with calls while I was sleeping. And then I woke up to him saying oh, sorry, Eric, we left for school. You didn't make it in time. And then I felt so sad and embarrassed, and he was my ride anyway, so I just skipped school that day.
For our India fundraiser, I was sending emails asking for chaperones, and then I sent the title would be chaperone for our India fundraiser, and I spelled chaperone wrong. I spelled it CHAPERON, and I forgot the E. And the embarrassing part is that I sent emails to basically all the English teachers.
Well, one time my freshman year, Chris was choosing people to go up in front of the class and read the Constitution, and it was so boring. And I was in the back of the class. I was sitting in the back of the class with the freshmen, and I fell asleep. And then Chris, I guess he made everyone look at me, and he was gonna take a selfie with me while I was sleeping in his class.
Freshman year, it was the homecoming float thing, and we were doing we had to act out in front of the whole entire crowd at the game, and our thing got messed up, the music was messed up and everything, and I was in a shark costume. That was pretty embarrassing, but I mean, it's funny to look back on, but at the moment it was pretty bad.
I think for me, it's definitely dressing up in a giant bird helmet and dancing around on stage in front of a ton of people for a homecoming float.
It's definitely when we had to wear those trash bags, also like during our sophomore year float.
Year for the homecoming assembly, Ethan and I were like doing our like rallying thing, trying to get people hyped, and I mistimed the woe in front of like the entire class. But it's fine, you know, people laugh.
Like when a fundraiser didn't go well and like we had to pick up a check with like less than $50 on it.
No.
Like, I hope like I never get that low again, because it's just like not a feeling that I'd ever want to match.
I think the senior that I will miss the most is obviously Cynthia, because, you know, she really introduced me to volleyball and leadership and just been in my committee for so long. And I just had so much fun with her. Like, we've done so much random stuff, and just, I'm gonna miss her a lot next year. So I'm going to really miss Tegan. I've known that girl since I was in like 4th grade, and just to like have grown up with her and then actually really bonded with her in high school has just been like amazing. I'm really gonna miss Joy. I remember my first conversation, kind of like Elizabeth, the first conversation I really had as a freshman was like at orientation and before tours, and I was just sitting with Joy talking, and that was like one of the first real interactions I've had with someone so much older than me in high school, and she's just been so sweet and so kind, and I love her a lot. And then Sophia, I also really love Sophia. Like Kristen was saying, she does so much. Like, it's crazy, but she's such a role model, and I really look up to her, and she's so kind. And then Corey. Corey has been a great ASB president, and he's so funny, and I just have like the most entertaining text conversations with Corey when I'm asking questions, and it's just so fun, and I'm gonna miss everyone a lot.
The senior I'm gonna miss most is also gonna be Cynthia, because she's always been so welcoming to me through volleyball and leadership and just school in general. And she just always has positive energy.
The senior I'm gonna miss the most is Tegan, because we got really close during sports, volleyball, and we played club together. And now that she's in leadership, I just get to see her all the time, which is really nice.
I think the senior I'm gonna miss the most is Joy, because I think she was the first upperclassman to really reach out, and then we started talking. She's just really cool.
Joy, since like freshman year, I've always looked up to her. And she's just been such a big role model for me, and always such a friendly face, even though I might have been intimidated by the upperclassmen. I'm also going to miss Lydia a lot, because since freshman year, when I was a little bit intimidated, she's kind of showed me the ropes of leadership, and kind of just been a person to look up to, and a person I always go to with questions. Like Sky and Winston helped me out when I was a little bit lost, and I know they're always someone I can go to for questions and I can go to for advice.
I'm going to miss number one is Sophia Orduña. That girl is my inspiration. I was in diversity freshman year with her sophomore, and I've just seen her as she's seen me grow, and she's just going to do so many wonderful things. She has such a positive attitude. Also, shout out to Raquel. She's so funny, and the amount of respect I have for her doing so many things outside of leadership and so much social justice work, it's just really incredible to see she takes leadership outside of her committee of diversity. And then I also wanted to shout out Corey. He's been great as preceding him later next year. He's been super cool, helping me navigate. Also up there with Sophia's Eric. Eric is like the most incredible person. You'll never meet anyone nicer than him. And Eric and I were in leadership in 7th grade. And then we've just been following each other, and it's just so cool to see him grow and do so much great stuff.